call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Paris Union School District Number 95 Board of Education for August the 8th, 2016. Let the record show that all members are present. Voting sequence for this meeting is as follows: Sanchez, Tuttle, Bailey, Norfolk, Isaac, Mathis, and Idle. Audience to visitors, anybody like to talk to us?
I have you on our agenda.
My name is Chief Ennis. I'm with the Paris Police Department. I've been asked to come here today to talk about some security issues that we have in the school that we maybe would like to address. Myself, along with Sergeant Wilson here, went to a federal training down in Indiana a couple weeks ago that really helped us with our ideals of moving forward. Currently, we do a lockdown situation in our schools whenever we have a incident that needs to be locked down. To me, locking down a school is an antiquated way of protecting our children. We lock the doors, we turn off the lights, we hide the kids, and we hope and pray that nothing happens until the police arrive. Unfortunately, the statistics show that over the years, an active shooter has approximately 85% accuracy on a kill ratio. Because when an active shooter does go into a school situation, the kids are taught to sit down or hide, and they're stationary targets. Myself and Officer Wilson, or Sergeant Wilson, sorry, have what I feel to be a progressive, empowering way to change from a lockdown situation. This is put on through the federal program called CRACE, and I'll go ahead and turn that over to Sergeant Wilson. He'll give you a little idea of what it's about.
Thanks for letting us come in here and talk. We want to be in full service, and we want to offer you a wonderful opportunity and also give us a chance to train more. Only one time in 26 years have I worked for a chief that has been as aggressive as Mike has on training, so I consider myself lucky. Avoid, deny, defend is what we went through, and there's different programs out there. We chose to go through the alert program, and I think it's one of the very best. It's out of San Antonio, Texas. Avoid, another name for it's run. Get away from the danger. Do whatever it takes to get yourself in a safe place. If you can't run, if you can't avoid, then deny or hide. Some of them are calling it run, hide, fight. That's one of the programs, and that's put on by Alice. With the smaller children, when we start talking to kids, the run, hide, fight might be actually better language because they're going to understand run better than avoid, and going to understand hide better than deny, and going to understand fight better than defend. But we have gone through this training to be able to come back to Edgar County and put on training for teachers, boards, community members, businesses in our nation. We're seeing this on a daily. It's happening every day. Somewhere in this world, it happens every day, and all too often it's happening in our country. We want to get out in front of it. In schools right now, you got to do 4 fire drills.
Yeah.
And every training I go to, one of the things in law enforcement that they drill to us is, when was the last time a kid died in a school because of a fire? We drill it so often, it's almost non-existent. But how often have we lost a child in a school shooting or in a situation where an intruder went into our school? And we only have to practice that once a year. One of the things we're going to suggest, and that's going to be up to your superintendents, your boards, we'd like to come in and drill every time you have a fire drill. And we'd like to make this a 4-time-a-year deal. Now, that helps us also, gets us in your building, makes us have a better rapport with your teachers, better rapport with yourselves, and it gives us better training. And again, we've we've not had the opportunity in this department to train like we have right now. So, you know, I'd like to think that everybody in this district and the other districts here will take advantage of this. We'd be more than happy to meet with you and put on the full, you know, I think what they suggest is an hour and a half. It can be condensed to fit whatever time we're given. I mean, there's bits and pieces of it as short as like 10 minutes, all the way up to an hour and a half. It's a really good program. I think we need to really touch base with your teachers and really grind this out. It's really important to me, and you know, I think Dennis and I are on the same page. We want to make sure that your teachers not only know where we stand from law enforcement, but we want you to know what's coming. We get that call, we're going to be in your building in 3 minutes. The national average is 3 minutes, and we can get any place from point A to point B in this town in 3 minutes. We drive a little faster, we got lights and sirens, and we enjoy using them. Not always for traffic stops or anything like that. But the gist of it is, very seldom would we ever be in a situation where we could not be in your building in 3 minutes. The 3 minutes is an eternity if you've got somebody in your building with a gun or a knife or a baseball bat, something that's going to hurt somebody. So we not only want them to know for at least 3 minutes, do whatever it takes, keep your kids safe, keep yourself safe, but if it comes down to it, don't just hunker down in a corner. If you have to fight, don't let somebody hurt you and do nothing about it. And that's what is changing. In the past, I've been to a lot of these trainings over the course of my career. In the past, they've had you hide. You know, they've had the kids hunker in the corner and just stay there. And just like the chief said, you're a stationary target. Everything's changing in the nation because of how frequently this is occurring. And one of the things are, if you can't run and get away from it, you hide. If you can't hide, you fight. Because, you know, ultimately, Virginia Tech, one-armed gunman went into a classroom several different times and shot everybody in the classroom. We've got a video of a young lady that survived that will tell you, you know, how she survived. She played dead. There was one classroom out of 4 or 5 that nobody died in. And the reason nobody died is they barricaded the door and they kept that person out of the room until law enforcement got there to handle the situation. So training is the key in everything that we do. The more we can train, the better prepared we are to keep you safe. And you know, we would really like to get on board all the way through this district and do more training and get better acquainted with some of the teachers and use it as a PR tool. Any questions? Thank you for your time.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Because I always do. The fight, how do you suggest they fight back?
Any way you have to, kick, fight.
Are you suggesting arming?
Well,
Teacher.
no, that is a district issue, and I gotta say this, I gotta
Something that
say,
you gotta.
yeah, I gotta say one thing. A week, or 2 weeks before we went to this class, I met with Lorraine. And, you know, there was conversation and not anything in stone or, you know, but something came up that a teacher had made a request to keep a ball bat in a room. And I gotta tell you, I'm way off base because my opinion changed after we went to this class. I told Lorraine I was against it. Only because, and this is part of the mindset you have to kind of understand with law enforcement coming. When we show up at your door and we're entering your building, we're not there to be the nice guy. We're not there to negotiate. We're there to end the threat by whatever means necessary. I don't want to be in a position where I'm directed to a room and I enter that room and see somebody standing there holding a baseball bat. Now, if I don't know that teacher, I don't want to be in a position where I make a mistake that I'm going to live with the rest of my life. But after going to that class, I think that's part of the training thing. I think if somebody decided that they wanted to keep a baseball bat in the room for defense, and the school board was on board with it, I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. As long as they understand when we're coming, when they know we're about to show up, make sure you get rid of it, put it on the ground, you know. But that comes back with more training. You know, we live in a bad world, Steve. I wish we didn't, but I think we're entering a time in our nation's history that we're going to have to do something more to keep our kids and our schools safe. And not only our kids in our school, but our businesses and our restaurants and every place we go. You know, at least outside of the school now, Illinois has caught up and given good, honest people the right to carry firearms if they so choose to protect themselves. In the school system, we don't have that. And I'm not saying that we should. I'm just saying in the school system, we need to come up with a plan to do the best we can to keep everybody safe.
Well, you probably need to leave that to professionals, but I was thinking, you know, a piece of wood might be a good thing to have on hand.
Absolutely.
Just to slide in the door.
Well,
You know, it's a very
And that's
cost-effective thing to put two little
bars.
bars there, and then all you
absolutely.
do slide it, and then they're locked out of the
Absolutely, and even with that, and that's a phenomenal idea. We see, and we'll have videos to show you, there's kids that pull the belts off. You know, the bars that come out on your doors have the swing at the top, that's got the bars that come together. Wrap a belt around there and cinch it tight. What about your little wooden door blocks? You know, kick that thing in there. That's not fail-safe, because sometimes they slide with the door. But if it catches, you know, that's as good as a 500-pound desk, keeping the door shut.
And I think the key to all this, because it is a very controversial subject when you start talking about fighting, and I want to say this too, is you have to remember we're talking about kindergartners,
Yeah.
first graders, second graders. I mean, we have a whole scope. And so I think that we're going to have a training in December where they have volunteered to come in and train our teachers. And I think it will look different and the message will be tailored as you're looking at different grade levels. And I think the key thing to remember, because it's hard for me when I deal with kids every single day to think about the fighting, is that that's always the last resort.
Absolutely.
So our first, is to
Absolutely.
run. We want them to hide. But at the very end, I think we train our kids. I can say at the middle school level and all levels, we train them so much to not bully, to not fight, to not have any issues, that you want them to know that in that case, if you have to shove someone, it's then okay if that's how you need to get away. And so I think that it will be an ongoing conversation and training within our school district. And I can't say enough good things about our police force and how much they work with us on these trainings. So thank you very much.
Well, and not only that, from kindergarten on up, that's what we were talking about, the
Yeah.
unified fight, But also our kids at home, our spouses at home. I've got an 8-year-old at home. He knows what happens if he gets in trouble at school. We still live under spare the rod and spoil the child, okay? I know I'm a minority in that in today's country. But by the same token, I am teaching him now, anything bad happens, you run. I mean, you get away however you have to. If I have to come find you afterwards, so be it. If you can't run, you get yourself hid someplace and you stay out of danger. But by the same token, we're also discussing at home when it's proper to fight, when you have to stand up and protect yourself. So, I think part of the reason we're changing in this nation is because from kindergarten all the way up until now, we have taught them to hide. And we're seeing where, even as adults, we want to just hide and not defend ourselves. So, and it is going to be difficult because there's going to be parents out there that are not going to want their child to participate in this, and so be it. I mean, that's each parent's right. We may want to think about having some type of alternate plan or,
Well, I think
a
the
paper
key
that
is
they
we're
sign.
going to start off with training teachers.
Right.
And then I think that will allow for a district-wide conversation as to what this would look for our schools. And then from there, we'll be able to tailor it. Because, the way we communicate, I can say, just last year for Teacher Appreciation Week, I was going around to the different schools we all were and helping out. It's much different recess at Memorial than recess at Mayo. So, you talk to the kids much differently, and I think that we have trained professionals in our building every day who are the teachers who know those kids and know our community values, know our family values, and so it'll be a conversation we'll have to have with Taylor. But I think it's a worthwhile discussion, I think it's a worthwhile training. We had just sent Amy Payne and Creighton Tar to the Alice training up in Champaign, and so I think this is definitely heading in the right direction, conversations we need to have in training. So thank you both very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, any other audience visitors would like to say anything? Enlighten us? Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes and the financial picture? If so, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? Motion has been made and seconded. Would each member please respond to the motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Milford.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Items, yes. Secretary's report, you got any report? Mr. Larson, you're on.
Okay. The first thing is our tentative budget. Enclosed in the packet is the tentative budget for fiscal year 2017. Each year we are required to propose a tentative budget by August and post it publicly before we adopt the budget in September. The Finance Committee met in July to review the budget and review all assumptions. I will say that I had to make some adjustment on assumptions based on the most recent data that I'm given. Some of the things that I would like to point out is that our overall deficit, is $527,215. If you are talking only the operating budget, the overall deficit is $359,723. Some of the cuts that we made this year is we have cut our maintenance department in half. We have reduced a bus route and an aide, eliminated a 100-day contract, not replaced a librarian at Mayo, reduced lunch pay, eliminated our portion of the health insurance deductible for teachers, and many other things that we have tried our best to reduce costs. This is a tentative budget. I do the best that I can with the numbers that I'm given, and then we will have the final budget at the next meeting, and this is already posted online. So we've already posted it online so that it is for review by the public. Every single page is on there for review. Are there any questions about our budget? Okay, so at this time, I would ask the school board to approve the tentative fiscal year 2017 budget.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I want to say, I appreciate the way Jeremy's really worked on this and has really came up and kept the board informed of what's going on, and I really appreciate that.
That means he kept the board informed. I think he's kept a lot of other
Yeah.
people informed too. It's been a good thing.
It's been a real good thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion?
And Nancy, I can give you all those numbers also afterwards.
Thank you.
I can give you for now.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the budget. Would each member please respond to this motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Milford.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Items, yes.
Okay, next item is the credit card reauthorization. With the transition of superintendents, we need to change the authorization of the district credit card from Connie Sutton to Jeremy Larson. I have enclosed the resolution that we have to approve and then send over to our credit card company to make sure that we have that swapped over. At this time, I would ask the school board to approve the resolution to approve Jeremy Larson as the designated officer on the district credit card in replacement of Connie Sutton.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to approve Jeremy Larson as our credit card guy. Designated officer. Would each member please respond to the motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Mokel.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Next, we have a resignation. It is a paraprofessional from the Creative Center, which is our preschool program. Ashlyn Hayes has served as a Creative Center paraprofessional for the past year. She has submitted her letter of resignation. Enclosed, you will find a copy. At this time, I would ask the school board to approve the resignation of Ashlyn Hayes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the resignation of Ashlyn Hayes? Would each member please respond to the motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Mokel.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Okay. Next, we have employment, which is Mayo Choir. On Schedule A, of the APT contract, there is a stipend for $391 for choir at Mayo Middle School, and that is for like a before school, after school choir. This past year, Gus Johnson taught choir in the morning twice a week. This year, Jessica Drake will be teaching choir first hour and second hour, and teaching the rest of the day at the high school. For her stipend, she'll be doing 2 in the mornings. So kids will have the opportunity for morning choir or second hour choir. First hour, she's going to be helping Gus Johnson with 6th grade band. So that's what Hannah Church did back when she was at Mayo. And then the cost of her salary, her overall salary, will be split with the high school and with us. Are there any questions about that?
What was the $391?
The $391 is on the stipend for Schedule A of the contract. So she will be doing morning choir before school, like an extra duty. So in an effort to allow students to come in the morning or do it during the day. So they'll have so kids will have 2 different options.
So it'll be before school, first period and second period.
Yeah, and that $391 last year, Gus Johnson did it, and he even said he'd be willing to do choir in the morning again, because he didn't want to hurt the band program. So Jessica Drake said she'd be willing to take on that role. That way, kids can have choices. I can be in band and I can be in choir by doing it in the morning.
So there could be 3 different times that they have choir.
2, because it's second hour, or it is before school. First hour is she's helping with 6th grade band, Gus Johnson. Yeah.
But it gives them more opportunity.
It gives them-
than they've had
yes, it
before.
gives them
That's
more
what-
opportunities.
That's good.
And they'll have it every single day for 50 minutes. So it's a block amount of time for instruction. So
Will every student take choir?
No, not every
It's
student.
it's just a volunteer type
It's
thing.
something you elect to do. So not every kid's in band. The problem is you can't be in band and choir at the same time, so that allows you to do choir in the morning. Because band is first hour for 6th graders, and it's 7th and 8th hour for, 3rd hour, it's 7th and 8th graders. So we're gonna have the second hour, and then we're in the morning. So they'll be able to,
Do both?
yeah. Any other questions? I know it's kind of confusing, I'm trying to explain it my best. Okay, at this time, I would ask the school board to approve Jessica Drake as the Mayo Middle School Choir Director.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to approve Jessica Drake as the chorus choir director at Mayo School on a part-time basis. Would each member please respond to this motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey. Notebook.
Yes.
Isaac.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Next is Mayo Volunteer Coach. Enclosed is a recommendation for Nick Roberts for Robert Hodginson as the volunteer assistant baseball coach for the 2016 season. This is an unpaid position, and Robert will be required to take all IESA mandated trainings along with the background check. At this time, I'd ask the school board to approve the recommendation for Robert Hodginson as a volunteer assistant baseball coach for the 2016 baseball season.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to approve Robert Hodgson as a volunteer coach for the male baseball team. Would each member please respond to this motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey. Notful.
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Idle is yes.
Next is the Creative Center paraprofessional position. Enclosed is a recommendation from Amy Carey for a Creative Center paraprofessional position. Ashlyn Hayes has resigned from the position, and Amy Perry has posted and interviewed candidates for this position. It is Mrs. Perry's recommendation to employ Sarah Collier as a Creative Center paraprofessional. At this time, I would ask that the school board approve the employment of Sarah Collier as a Creative Center paraprofessional. And this position requires you to have 60 college credit hours. Yeah. And the cost of the position is $18,000. So I make my recommendation for the board to approve this.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to employ Sarah Collier as a pre-K paraprofessional position at the Creative Center. Would each member please respond to the motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Notful.
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Idle is yes.
Okay, next is our substitute list. Enclosed is the substitute list. These lists update throughout the year as individuals apply. I apologize, Cindy Mathis' name needs to be marked off that list, so I just want to make that clear. So, you can see the list is in there. The list includes substitutes for teachers, paraprofessionals, cooks, and nurses. This year, we are also trying to recruit individuals for substitute custodians. So I did want to make a note of that. That's something that we're trying to recruit now that we're doing that ourselves. For any of these positions, individuals must meet state requirements, pass a background check, and apply within the district. So annually, we ask that the board approve this. So at this time, I would ask the school board approve the 2016-2017 substitute list.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? The non-certified sub-list,
Yep.
has Jessica Blair in there. Is she not a teacher?
So
That's a
there's,
different.
yeah, different Jessica Blair.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I'm gonna say is you're gonna notice that our lists are getting really small. So we had tried putting out there, recruiting people to, apply for this, and I can tell you that every year that the substitute teacher list that I've been here has been 2 pages, and you can see that for the certified, it's down to 1. So, we're hiring a lot of people. I'm just gonna say, there's not too many people who have a bachelor's degree who just sit at home waiting for a phone call, you know? And so that's a state requirement. I know it's something that they talked about at the state level, lowering the educational requirement to be a substitute teacher, and, it's difficult for us to get them in. I can think of at least 4 or 5 that have been hired within our district or in other districts. And I'm gonna say this even now, because I think this kind of solidifies it. I had a teacher in my building, Heather McCluskey, who thought she was going for a position in another district. And so I posted the position because we're only 3 weeks out from school, because I was nervous. Well, it didn't work out, so that position didn't come to fruition. So I'm thankful I didn't have to hire someone last minute. But what I will say is in posting that position, only 2 people applied. And so, I mean, there's just not very many people applying for a position, so it's something to keep in the back
I
of our
think there's
mind.
less and less of them becoming teachers. And it's gonna get worse instead of better.
Yeah. So at this time, I would ask the school board to approve the 2016-2017 sub-list.
So.
Second. Yeah, I do that. Oh, sorry.
So, No, you didn't.
No.
We're still in the process, right? We were discussing before we did the motion. So, any further discussion in regard to this motion? Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to approve the sub list. Would each member please respond to the motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tully.
Yes.
Bailey. Millville.
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, next is our support staff handbook. Enclosed in this memo is the support staff handbook, and I put a new one out there for you. As you said, now there was one more change that I needed to make. The changes are, there's 3 changes in total. You'll see Connie's name and my name got swapped out. The second change is that you will see that we have updated the pay periods, because the support staff had the exact same pay periods as APT members. So we put them all on the same, and that's what I had forgotten to change and why I put it out there. And then the third change was I have removed the memorandum of understanding for the 6% retirement for supervisory support staff. So you will see that that's no longer in there as well. So, are there any questions about the 3 changes? At this time, I would ask the school board to approve the support staff handbook.
So made.
Second.
Any further discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to approve the support staff handbook. Would each member please respond to this motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tully.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Millville.
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Okay. Next is our school board policy. In July, the school board policy committee met to discuss the policy revolving around concussions for return to play and return to learn. Enclosed is the language of this policy. This is a required policy update due to a new law that is required to be implemented by September 2016. So this is our second reading of it. Are there any questions about our policy?
Did this change much over the previous?
No, there really weren't. I think what it did is, I think it was a good conversation for us all to have about how we implement it within our district. I think the real key is, especially at the elementary level, just informing parents about what concussions are, and the real new piece is return to learn. So it's about when you come back to school, what are we going to do? We have been doing return to play for a very long time. So, at this time, I'd ask the school board to accept the school board policy 7305.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? A motion been made and seconded to approve the student athlete concussion head injury policy, 7-7:305. Would each member please respond to this motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tully.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Millville.
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, next we have some donations. Mayo Middle School's Drama Club has obtained additional sponsors for the school musical. These donations include James Motley, CPA, $150, McCulloch Farms, $50, Fruit and Cash, $25, and First Bank Trust, $50. At this time, I'd ask the school board to accept these donations.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to accept the donations. Would each member please respond to the motion? Sanchez.
Yes.
Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Millville.
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, I have a few informational items. The first one is salary reports. So each year ISB requires us to submit salary reports and publicly post them on our website. Enclosed in this memo, you'll find the salary reports, and Nancy, I'll give you a copy before you leave, that are required to be submitted to ISB. Additionally, Public Act 97-609 requires school districts to publicly post all salaries on their websites where the overall compensation exceeds $75,000 within 6 days of the budget approval. And so I have already posted all of these online. So you can go to paris95.k12.il.us and you can see all of these reports. They've already been posted online. and they are also included in here. So I just wanted everyone to know that we are in compliance with that. The next thing is the
Can I
school.
ask a question?
Yep.
How many of these people on the 75,000 are in the 6%?
Let me go to it.
And what's their retirement? You may not have it.
Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I guess who's not?
10, 11. Basically, Gary Don and myself. And Mr. Gates are the only ones who are not. So. Yeah. And I try to make it as big as possible so no one can say I made it teeny tiny, so it looks just like that online. So. Are there any questions about the salaries or? Okay. Okay, next thing is the school board meeting schedule. You'll see that I highlighted as kind of a light gray when I printed it off. There's 3 dates that were changed. So October landed on Columbus Day, so it has mirrored the same as the high school schedule. So October 11th at 5 p.m. Then the next one is December 19th. I'm asking that we move that to December 19th because we need to have 30 days for the levy to lay before we can approve it. So we'd have to move either the November or the December, so I'm requesting to move the December. And then you'll also see April 17th, is when I moved that one, and that is due to, it landed on spring break. And so, those are the 3 dates. Are those issues for anyone?
I'm just expecting a birthday cake on October 11th, okay?
I'll make sure to do that.
Okay.
You like ice cream cake?
That'll
We
be
need to
fine.
talk- we need to talk about here that day.
Not yet. I still got one more year for that.
Okay. The next thing I'd like to discuss is the Local Government Travel Expense Act. They have came out with the Local Government Travel Expense Act. Basically, some of the new requirements are we have to set a rate as a district for 3 things. We have to set it for mileage, we have to set a rate for lodging, and we have to set a rate for food, for meals. We have used the IRS rate for mileage, and that is what we've pretty much always done as long as I'm aware. For lodging, we usually get the state rate when we go, so we'll have to set a rate for that. And then the third one is, meals, so we're gonna have to set a rate. So, as a district, that's something we need to be thinking about, but you can go over to the IRS, and then it's the US, I forget the name of the organization, but there's government rates that are set for all those. So we're gonna have to approve those before January 1st. I am waiting, because I have contacted the Illinois Association of School Boards, and they're gonna come out and they're gonna give us guidance on this, as to some general guidelines before we do. So I think it might be wise just to hold off and see what they put out there. But the second piece to this is that you have to have a form that you have to fill out before you attend anywhere and fill out to request, and we've been doing that already. So, I mean, you guys have seen the form, I put it in the board packet. We already fill out the form. So really, the 2 new things that are gonna be new for us is setting a very specific district rate on lodging, setting a very specific district rate on meals. That will really be the only difference for us. And then if something exceeds that, we have to discuss it as a school board and approve it after the fact. So if someone comes back and says, well, I spent more dollars on our meals, I mean, for us to even pay it, it would have to be a discussion, which at that point I'd just say, well, no, you went over your costs, so we're not reimbursing you. So, I mean, but that's the way it would have to work. That's the way they wrote it, just so you guys understand. So I will have that as they come out with it from the Illinois Association of School Boards.
Did you say that you have to fill out a form before you go?
Yeah.
Or a form after you get back to?
It's before you go to request it. And so we have transportation requests, we have professional development forms, and those go through all the administrators. We write all those requests up, and we keep those in files.
And then afterwards, they don't have to turn in a form with the receipts?
So then they have to turn in all the receipts afterwards.
Okay.
So, and basically what the act says is if for some reason someone's expense went higher, than what was written on the form. Then it has to go to the board and be brought before. So I cannot administratively just say, well, let's just reimburse them even though they went over the rate. I'm not obliged to do that. That has to be a board decision. So. On back to school dates, today started registration. I think it went extremely smooth. It was at Mayo from 8 to 3. We also have registration tomorrow from 12 to 7. There's a back to school breakfast that board members are welcome to come to. We are inviting you to come to. That is August 17th at Lake Ridge at 8:30 a.m. We also have our open houses, and they're spread all throughout the evening on August 17th at all the schools. And then you can see the 18th and 19th are half days of school attendance, and then August 22nd is the first full day of school. And then just the final thing I'd like to talk about is just the PHS road construction. You can see that they're working on that, and hopefully that will be done within the next week or two. So I think it's really important that it's getting done. I appreciate how much communication we've received from the city and from Mr. Meister on that. The pictures are great that he's taking and sending to us, and hopefully that will be done shortly.
They were delaying the road this morning.
What?
They were putting the concrete down for the road this
Okay.
morning.
Really?
Yeah, because Ned went out and took pictures for us.
Oh, one more thing, and I apologize, is I just received, so the policy committee, I just received our policy committee updates. So within the next week, we're going to be hearing from me to set up a meeting and review our policies, so.
I'd like to go back to something if I can, over here. On this thing, on these holidays here, on this support staff annual.
Okay, yeah. And that's what's always been in there, so I need to change.
Oh, yeah.
it.
Here it's got like this Thanksgiving, I think they get the Friday after,
Let me go
it's
to,
not listed. Did we do that? And then we took Casimir Pulaski, but you don't take that off anymore.
Is that all anymore?
And then I think Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, they get a half a day
okay.
for that. And then did we give you a floating holiday? That needs to be in there, and that's up to the superintendent what it is. It's just a day, like, let's say, 4th of July would be on a Tuesday, and they wanted to do it yearly, then they might take a month. Then I'm pretty sure we did that, and as a floating holiday, and they decided you did it at the thing. It wasn't like they all had to do it whenever it was, I think.
Now,
None of that's in here.
I apologize. Tell me that again. That's, well, it says unless the district receives a waiver, which we do have a waiver.
Yeah.
So like for Casimir Pulaski Day, we have a waiver. So that one. But what were the other ones?
Okay, we gave them, like, we had a meeting a couple, 3 years ago or 4, this came up policy, and Amy was in on this, I'm pretty sure, and we gave them a floating holiday, and as an extra day that, just at the start of the year, we used to get it in the city, I think they still do, that they got an extra day, kind of do that. And then we gave them the Friday after Thanksgiving,
Okay.
and then they got like Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, they just worked half a day, or was it a full day? Okay. I'm not sure what it was, but I just know that,
I'll get that up.
that probably needs to be in there, and that Casimir Pulaski, we took that off.
Okay.
Is that not part of the contract?
This isn't teachers, this is for the 12 months.
Support staff.
Huh? No, this is for the 12 months.
That's something I'll look into and I'll make sure.
Yeah, we'll look into that, I'm pretty sure we did that, I think we need to have that listed.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It needs to reflect what it actually is.
Yeah.
So I apologize for that. I'll
I'm
make
pretty
sure
sure
it's
that's what we
updated.
did, isn't it? I think we did.
Yeah, well, saying it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
I will check into that, and then I'll bring it to the next board meeting so we can
Okay.
update that section.
Because we rewrote the policy, so it should be somewhere.
Okay.
It should be listed exactly what it
I'm
was.
sure I know where it's at.
Okay. Just want to make sure that that is.
No, I appreciate that.
That's it.
And that ends my, agenda.
Any committee reports? Public hearing of petitions? Unfinished business? Matters for follow-up? New business? Right to revert to prior order of business? We don't need an executive session. I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Before you leave, we need to sign the authorization for the